The film opens with American chess prodigy Bobby Fischer in the midst of a distressing panic attack in his hotel room after he fails to make his appearance for his match against Russian world chess champion Boris Spassky. The narrative then abruptly shifts back to 1951. Young Bobby is shown attempting to draw attention from his family amidst a bustling party. Following his parents' split, Bobby has to share his home with his older sister Joan and his mother, a dedicated nurse and avid political activist. Due to a lack of attention and affection, Bobby starts to lose himself in the world of chess, playing with a set gifted by his sister. Recognizing Bobby's enthusiasm for chess, his mother Regina introduces him to a local chess club where he crosses paths with Carmen Negro, the 25th best chess player in New York. Bobby loses the match, but Negro quickly realizes that he has the potential to rise to great heights in the world of chess. Over the next 4 years, Bobby hones his skills, progressing from club matches to dominating games at Washington Square. At the tender age of 12, Bobby draws the attention of the sports press and begins his ascent to stardom in the world of chess. By 13, he defeats American master Donald Byrne in a match later labeled as the Game of the Century. A string of 5 remarkable victories sees him becoming the youngest ever U.S. chess champion. Bobby's singular goal becomes defeating the Russians and claiming the world champion title. He delves deeply into Spassky's games and strategies, studying magazine articles detailing his moves. Simultaneously, his relationship with his family deteriorates when he chastises his mother for keeping his father a secret and demands that she and her boyfriend leave the house for him to focus on chess. With the escalating tension, Regina chooses to move to California with her boyfriend to engage in politics. During a match in Yugoslavia, he becomes the youngest ever grandmaster, intensifying his desire to defeat the Russians. After winning interzonal matches, he becomes the favorite to win the candidates tournament, potentially earning a match against world champion Boris Spassky. In a high-stakes round-robin match in Varna, Bulgaria, in 1962, Bobby stands alone against 5 Soviets, as the tournament continues to unfold. Bobby quickly grasps that the Soviets are engaging in unsportsmanlike conduct. Their games against each other conclude rapidly without much effort, while their matches with Bobby are protracted, draining, 6-hour ordeals. Halfway through the tournament, Bobby identifies a pattern. The Russians appear to deliberately lose to their leader, Spassky. Infuriated, Bobby storms out of the match, publicly denouncing his opponents as cheaters. His anger not only targets the Russians but also extends to the Chess Federation, whom he accuses of corruption. Claiming the game to be unfair, unjust, and immoral, he withdraws from not only the tournament but chess itself, leaving his dream of becoming the youngest world champion in shreds. Bobby's explosive claims prompt concerns within the U.S. government, particularly during the height of the Cold War when American-Soviet tensions were at a peak. Ignorant of the actual circumstances, the FBI even suspects Bobby of being a communist agent. On January 25, 1965, Bobby is approached by Paul Marshall, a lawyer who sees the potential for prestige and financial gain from Bobby's stature in the chess world. He offers his services as a financial advisor and legal counsel. With some persuasion from Paul, Bobby agrees to return to the game under specific conditions. With the help of a priest and former chess player, William Lombardy, Paul secures Bobby's return to the game, even penning an apology to the Federation for Bobby's past accusations. Bobby insists on having William, the only player to have defeated Boris Spassky, as his official second. Initially hesitant, William is astounded by Bobby's remarkable chess strategies and agrees to accompany him in future tournaments. The Goodwill Tournament kicks off in Los Angeles. The Soviet team, as world champions, are accommodated luxuriously, much to Bobby's annoyance, who is unhappy with his more modest lodging. Amidst this, a sex worker named Dana offers her services, helping defuse the tense situation. The next day, the match begins on time, but Bobby is nowhere in sight. With just seconds left to make his move, he appears unexpectedly, stunning his opponent with his remarkable skill. Bobby manages to defeat the 4th best chess player in the world, Ivanovic, sending him into a state of shock. A despondent Ivanovic subsequently withdraws from the tournament, citing illness. However, Bobby too decides not to participate again until all his demands are met. Beyond additional remuneration and a luxury car, He seeks alterations to the gaming hall, including a 5-foot buffer between him and the audience to prevent their thoughts from disturbing him. Meanwhile, as Bobby enjoys his night with Dana and prepares for his match, Spassky's team persuades him to face Bobby the following day, hoping to maintain Russian supremacy in the chess world. Despite Bobby's formidable performance, Spassky manages to secure a draw in the match. He avoids the media glare and vanishes into the bustling streets of Los Angeles. Meanwhile, William uncovers Paul's tactic of extracting funds from influential Americans to cater to Bobby's whims. Observing Bobby's volatile behavior, William worries that Bobby could tread the same path as Paul Murphy, a revered chess player who succumbed to untreated psychosis. In contrast to William, Paul is determined to let Bobby play, arguing that his issues can be addressed and managed. The next day, Bobby wakes up on a beach to find Spassky and his entourage nearby. Perceiving them as spies, Bobby erupts into a fiery tirade, but Spassky calmly exits the beach, leaving a perturbed Bobby behind. As Bobby continues to best grandmasters, moving closer to a showdown with Spassky, his mental health takes a toll. Paranoia takes hold, leading him to dismantle phones and other devices to block supposed Russian surveillance. He immerses himself in documentaries about communist and Jewish conspiracies, feeding his paranoia. Meanwhile, Bobby's elder sister, Joan, grows concerned about his mental health. She shares with Paul letters from Bobby claiming communist brainwashing and Jewish collusion. Joan is particularly disturbed by his anti-Semitic sentiments, given their own Jewish heritage. She seeks advice from a psychiatrist friend, who warns that Bobby's letters suggest paranoia and delusional psychosis, conditions needing immediate treatment. However, Paul dismisses these concerns as a normal reaction to finding surveillance devices in Bobby's hotel room. Paul accompanies Bobby to the semi-final of the World Chess Championship, where he faces Russian Grandmaster Tigran Petrosian. As expected, Bobby vanquishes Petrosian, advancing to the finals against Spassky. However, learning of Paul's secret meeting with Joan, Bobby accuses his lawyer of spying on him. Believing that he is constantly under Russian surveillance, he deserts his team again. In addition to fearing being spied on through his TV, Bobby becomes convinced of plots to sabotage his plane or poison him. These latest episodes of suspicion and paranoia finally alert Paul to the severity of Bobby's condition. However, it's too late for medical intervention, as Bobby staunchly refuses to see a doctor. Before arriving in Reykjavik, Iceland, to face Spassky in a 24-game World Championship series, Bobby demands several changes. This stubborn behavior exhausts William's patience, leading to a heated argument and his eventual departure. Undeterred, Bobby insists on his conditions, which include the absence of photographers and a deposit of $46,000 into his account. When his demands are not met, he leaves the airport, thus missing the opening ceremonies. This adds to his growing resentment over what he perceives as constant disregard. Retreating to his apartment, Bobby reaches out to Joan, convinced that the Marines are not protecting him from Russian interference. Recognizing her brother's mental instability, Joan is poised to assist him when Paul intervenes. He informs Bobby that the president and other high-profile figures are prepared to fulfill his financial demands. On July 11, 1972, Bobby arrives in Iceland for his first match against Spassky. Upon seeing Bobby back in action, William rejoins his team. The game commences with tournament director Mike Wallace introducing the two competitors. However, Bobby finds himself increasingly distracted by camera noise and the audience, impairing his focus. His mounting anxiety leads to a loss in the first match. In response to this disappointing start, Bobby declares that he won't participate in the remaining games unless they are devoid of audiences and cameras. He demands the games be held in a ping-pong room rather than the main hall. When he fails to show up for the second match, Spassky wins by forfeit. According to the rules, Bobby has 24 hours to indicate in writing his intention to continue, or Spassky will be crowned champion. Meanwhile, Bobby's suspicions about Paul being a CIA agent intent on seeing him lose continue to escalate. Despite believing that Bobby is using insanity as an excuse to avoid defeat, Spassky agrees to play in the ping-pong room. The third game, devoid of an audience, proceeds with only Mike and Spassky present, and a silent camera set up to broadcast the match. Initially, Bobby appears to make a risky move, but the tide swiftly turns, leading to his first victory over the reigning world champion. In the fifth game, Spassky's concentration is disrupted by a peculiar noise from his chair. Bobby seized this opportunity to secure another win, prompting Spassky to order an X-ray of his chair, which revealed 2 dead flies. Bobby's 2 consecutive victories bolster his confidence, and he returns to the main hall for the 6th match. His unconventional tactics puzzle observers, as he chooses a move he's never played before and Spassky defends with a tactic he's never lost to. The audience assumes Bobby has made a grave mistake, but the game takes a thrilling twist, leaving Spassky entrapped in Bobby's stratagems. After the match, Spassky joins the audience in applauding Bobby's triumph. Bobby goes on to defeat Spassky, securing the title of world champion with a 4-point lead. The 6th match is still regarded as the most outstanding chess game ever played.